Since Alexie Mae Brooks was crowned as Miss Iloilo 2024, she has gathered a tremendous amount of support all throughout the country. And because of this, everyone has been wondering if she has what it takes to be the next Miss Universe Philippines. Well, in an edition of the pageant that feels almost like an all-star edition of Miss Universe Philippines, it is safe to say that Alexie is definitely one of the front runners. But does she has absolutely what it takes to represent the Philippines at Miss Universe? We're gonna be talking about it on today's video. What's up everyone, my name is Portelles and on this channel we talk about all things pageant. I really hope that you find some sort of value and entertainment on this video. If you do, go ahead and drop a like, follow, subscribe, share the video, express yourself in the comment section, and of course don't forget to watch this video until the end to find out what my conclusion is when it comes to this particular question. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first reason why I think that Alexie will be a great representative for the country at Miss Universe is basically because Alexie represents herself, a group of people in the Philippines that has for the longest time been precisely underrepresented. And in this particular case, I'm talking about people of a darker complexion or a darker skin tone, but this also applies to anyone who doesn't fit the mold of what the average Filipino or Filipina might look like. It is no secret that just like most countries in the world, the Philippines has a lot of diversity when it comes to its people. You can find all ranges of skin colors, hair textures, and so on and on. However, in mainstream media, in positions of visibility, we always get to see the same prototype. Light-skinned and the mold that, for centuries, the colonial mentality pushed in the country. Having Alexie in a position of power, such as the reigning Miss Universe Philippines, will not only give great visibility to her community, but at the same time give her a voice to talk about this issue that perhaps for the average person, they might not be so familiar with. Moving on to the next point, Alexie has a very inspiring story. In case you're not familiar, Alexie is half Filipina, half American. She was raised by her grandparents while one of the parents is an overseas Filipino worker. She has shared anecdotes of how she would help her lola sell certain products at the market just to bring some money for the household, and going through all of those struggles growing up that I know for a fact that a lot of people can relate to, especially when it comes to youth empowerment. I think that this is a message of resilience that a lot of people will benefit from, to see that it's not because you have humble beginnings or because you are not in a privileged position that you cannot make it later on in life and create something good for yourself. As a matter of fact, her story really reminds me a lot about the upbringing of our reigning Miss Universe Shanice Palacios, who also had to go through several hardships in similar conditions in order to be where she is today. So what better reference do you want than the reigning Miss Universe to prove that Alexie's story can be quite appealing to the Miss Universe organization? Now let's talk about Alexie being an athlete. First of all, I think that it's so incredible that this woman is able to represent the country not just when it comes to beauty pageants, but also on the sports arena. Being an athlete demands so much hard work, effort, dedication, passion, and overall discipline. These are all transferable skills, which I believe that the same way that they helped Alexie excel in the sports arena can do the same for her on the beauty pageant side of things. Remember, we often compare pageantry with sports because of how much time, effort, and just dedication it takes to excel in both arenas. We can also say that Alexie is breaking stereotypes because often beauty queens will be attached to this softer and hyper feminine look, and I think that it's a great opportunity for Alexie to showcase that it is a spectrum. You don't have to be super masculine or super feminine. You can be anywhere within the spectrum, and that doesn't mean that you are more or less worthy of a title. Or even better, the chance to represent your country internationally. Number 4, let's talk about Alexie's communication skills, which I believe are outstanding. Ever since her national pageant, when I first heard that final answer that she provided, I knew that this girl is going to be one of the really strong communicators of this batch at Miss Universe Philippines. And of course, up until now, in every single interview that she has released, she has never disappointed. Alexie speaks with a lot of confidence, with a lot of enthusiasm. She is very clear and she really knows how to present her ideas in a very effective manner. I also really want to commend her because she is able to tackle questions that sometimes can be quite tricky and borderline sometimes inappropriate, because of course, as we said earlier, she represents a community that is not as visible in the country. So therefore, she is exposed to a lot of questions. Sometimes people are coming from ignorant places and put her in a position where she kind of wants to educate people, but sometimes it might come across as a little odd when people ask her certain questions. And so far, she has handled herself like a pro every single time. I'm very excited for Miss Universe Philippines to actually start, to see her interacting with other delegates and really be able to compare how she competes next to every single one of the candidates. But even before the official beginning of the pageant, I am confident that her communication skills could bring her all the way to the top. In terms of the looks, I cannot help it but to compare Alexie to a chameleon. This girl has showcased so much versatility in her looks, and I'm gonna talk here not only about what she's wearing but also how she presents herself. I think that right after the coronation of Miss Iloilo 2024, there were these photos that went viral on social media of Alexie showcasing more of a masculine look, and then we had photos with the longer hair, and then we had like the super hyper feminine look of the final. So it just showcases how versatile this girl is in terms of how she can present herself to the public. One thing that I also really like about her is that she is able to blend it all. When Alexie presents herself more on the masculine side versus the very feminine side, I don't feel like there is awkwardness or clumsiness in terms of her personality. You can tell that it's consistently the same person, same charisma, same sense of humor. It's just a different presentation, a different envelope, if that makes sense. Of course, this is something that might play in her advantage. Not that it will give her an unfair advantage compared to everyone else, but the versatility is always appreciated. Just think of previous title holders such as Beatriz Luigi Gomez and even Michelle Marquez D that were able to embrace the duality and use it to their advantage and make it part of their journey, of their stories, which ultimately ended up bringing more support and more people rooting for them. In terms of her advocacy, Alexie is a self-love advocate, and I think that this is very on brand with her. It's definitely something that she can speak of coming out of her personal experience, which for me is so important in terms of advocacy, because whether she's on a pageant or not, this is something that she can never remove from herself. She can never stop standing up for herself and for people who go through similar struggles. For me, that is what determines on whether an advocacy is something legitimate or not, or whether you will be doing it after the pageant. So I'm glad to see that Alexie is not only going with something that really hits home, but also that a lot of people in the country and outside of the country are also experiencing. This will make it relevant, not just for Filipino crowds, but also for an international audience that inevitably will follow her if she was to be crowned as Miss Universe Philippines, and why not even more, Miss Universe 2024. Because of all of these points and many more, Alexie Brooks has gathered an impressive amount of support from Filipinos. I would go as far as to say that she is even ahead in terms of support that some of the comeback queens that already competed on a national and international level, who are also making a comeback to Miss Universe Philippines. And that just speaks volumes about how appealing Alexie is to the crowd, because some of these girls have already campaigned for years, they have already built and consolidated a fan base. But even to this point, by only winning a provincial pageant, Alexie managed to win the heart of many people across the nation. So to answer the question of this video, does Alexie Brooks has what it takes to be the next Miss Universe Philippines 2024? Personally, I feel like Filipinos will want someone new, fresh, edgy, relatable, someone who is able to break stereotypes and inspire them at the same time to represent them on an international stage. I think that Alexie checks all of those boxes, and I also think that, of course, although this video is all about her strengths, there are also some things that need to be addressed in order to give her even better chances of winning at Miss Universe Philippines. Nobody's perfect, and of course there are also things that Alexie will need to address within her preparation, within her strategy, and maybe we can film a different video all about that. I think that we also need to take into consideration where the pageant will be held for Miss Universe. So if Alexie was to be sent to Mexico, we also have to take a moment and analyze what are Mexican beauty standards. Are most of the judges going to be Mexican? What is the organization looking for? So that she can also adapt and prepare accordingly to those things. But as I said, maybe that's a topic for a different video. For now, go ahead and let me know, how do you feel about my comments, my conclusion in the comment section down below. I will be reading you, of course. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, family members, and everyone who might enjoy it. I will see you on the next one, and thank you guys for watching.